common shared performance. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Lars Rasmussen. I'm honored to say that he's a Berkeley graduate. He's got his PhD from the computer science department, and he went on to Google and now is the co-developer of Google Wave. So for the next 10 minutes, he's going to talk to us and share some of his wisdom from Australia. Lars.
Hello, Berkeley. Goodness, I can't possibly say anything for 10 minutes. I wonder if you guys can turn off my volume because I'm hearing myself talk. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hug the person next to you if you can hear me. Just kidding. Oh, yes. My name is Lars Rasmussen. I graduated from Berkeley in 1998 with a thesis on approximate counting over from the computer science department. And I'm happy to say that when I opened my thesis yesterday, I didn't understand a word, so it must have been good. I joined Google a little while later. I worked on Google Maps for a while. I actually started that project with my brother about 2.5 years ago, which we launched in a sort of super early preview mode about 2 months ago after showing a ridiculously long demo at a conference in San Francisco. Has anyone here heard of Google Wave? Raise your hands. Oh my goodness. Have anyone here seen the demo? Has anyone seen all of the demo? That's what I thought. We're finding it a little difficult to explain what the product is because we tried, it was kind of an interesting thing. We tried, we observed how email was invented 40 years ago, essentially to mimic snail mail or paper mail. and computers and networks, of course, have developed dramatically since then. And we thought we'd try and see what was the best we could do for communication and collaboration without trying to mimic an existing means of communication. And we came up with this thing called Wave, and of course exactly because we deliberately tried not to mimic an existing non-digital form of communication, we're having an awfully hard time explaining exactly what it is without doing a ridiculously long demo. It's actually really simple. A wave is a shared object between a set of participants. It's sort of halfway between a document and a conversation. It's a tree of messages, and you can add a message or a reply anywhere in the tree, but then you can also edit messages. And in fact, you can edit other people's messages as well in a sort of wiki-like manner. And that's really all it is. And so it's a very flexible tool. And it turns out, at least we like to think it turns out, that you can use it for a whole lot of different things. So you can do the sort of things you would have an email, instant messaging in Wave, but you can also use Wave to do collaborative editing and discussion about. And by this, people get doing it. It turns out, and this, I guess, in a sense, the thesis that that these different types of actions today, email, instant messaging, collaborative editing, are really only different because our tools make them different. And when you put them all inside one tool, most of our interactions actually fall somewhere in the middle of that triangular spectrum, if you like. And we think that makes you more productive in a lot of different ways. It's very hard to get people to believe that by talking, but we do find that when people try it out, and if they're willing to stay with it enough to try out things for a while, it actually works pretty well. And I think for academics, a fair number of academics have been really excited about Wave's possibilities in collaborating on academic papers. And maybe even, so Wave is a very extensible platform as well that has very rich APIs where you can extend the content type, for example, so that you can write LaTeX document in Wave, and you can add robotic participants so that you can integrate Waves with, say, a publishing system. The academics have described how you might even be able, eventually, this is far out and into the future, use a system like Wave for the entire process of writing and peer reviewing and publishing and iterating on academic papers, which we find very, very exciting. And one of the things that makes this possible is that we have constructed Wave not just to be a product of Google, but we're promoting the underlying protocols as an open protocol, and we are hoping that we can persuade other organizations to pick this up and build their own wave systems. And we're going to sometime next year open source enough code that you could actually take the code and run your own wave server on your own servers, so that using Wave doesn't mean that you're committed to all of your data living on Google's data centers. And so I suppose the technology is relevant to today's topic because well, it can be used for all kinds of different things and also public discussions. So we have fairly small numbers of users, sort of in the hundreds of thousands, because it's an invitation-only phase of the project. And we kind of hacked in sort of a half-baked method for taking a wave and making it public so that anyone with a Wave account can take part in the discussion. And we really meant it just for a way, sort of a way for people to find each other. We always thought Wave's sweet spot was with a relatively small number of people collaborating, but suddenly people